Letting number 8670, aviation fields upgrades and streetscapes improvements. Project number R 2017-83033, Forest Park, St. Louis, Missouri. We have 6 bids. 5 will be read, 1 will be returned because it's in an improper envelope. Likely Construction Company, Likeeley Construction Company. Elkey. Okay. Total base bid. $2,385,505. 2,835. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what is that. Is it a 3 or 8?
And Sharice, could you also repeat the name of the company for me, please? Thanks.
Okay, I'll read that over again. I'm sorry. Elkey Construction Company. L period Keeley Construction Company. Total base bid amount $2,385,505. 2,385,505.00. Alternate number 1, $314,773.51. 314,773.51. Alternate number 2, adds, wait a minute. This guy, number 2, but you got deduct. So which one? It's not the total. Just for one, I did that. Then bid deduct alternate number 2, $1,776.32. 177.6.32. We're going to do this all over again. L period Keeley Construction Company. Is that right? Total base bid $2,385,505. 2,385,505.00. Alternate number 1, $314,773.51. 314,773.51. Bid deduct alternate number 2, $1,776.32. Total bid for alternate number 2 is $73,510.86. should have read this. Because I got that. Okay. RV Wagner, Inc., RV WAGNER, Inc. Total base bid amount, $2,238,234.40. 238,234.40. Alternate number 1, $305,305,000.00. Total bid for alternate number 2 is $62,263.60. 62263.60. Cosney Wagner, Inc., KOZENY, Wagner, Inc. Total base bid, $2,467,460.30. 2,467,460.30. Bid deduct, total bid alternate number 2 is 85,000. Okay. Alternate bid, alternate number 1, 420,000. 420,000.00. Alternate number 2, $85,327.55. 85327.55. Rainier Construction, LLC, RAINERI. Total base bid amount, $2,914,991.51. 2,914,991.51. Alternate number 1, $312,919. 312,919.00. Alternate number 2, $31,447.48. 31447.48. Would the low bidder please meet with Ms. Ben in the Ms. Bryant in the hallway? Thank you. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, it's 4 bids. Okay. It's 4 bids, 1 will be returned. Girls, one of them days.
Hearing number 8218 is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the conditional use permit issued to Al-Shami Al-Rayami Grand Stop to occupy 1015 North Grand is a mini market with deli and cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions, should be revoked. The conditional use permit is numbered as 120299. The condition in question is as follows. Condition 6. There shall be no temporary signage on the premise or posted to the exterior or interior of the windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the zoning administrator has been presented, the board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then, the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents, which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of the zoning code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, the conditional use permit numbered as 120299 issued to Al-Shami Al-Rayami Grand Stop to occupy 1015 North Grand as a mini market with deli and cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions. Item 3, a letter dated March 30th, 2018, sent to Grand Stop, CO Al-Shami Al-Rayami from the zoning inspector, warning of violations of the conditions that were found upon a recent site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 4, a memorandum dated May 1st, 2018 from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator stating that upon that date, the zoning inspector found violations of condition number 6 of the conditional use permit. This memo includes photographs of the said violations. Item 5, public notices for today's hearing. And item 6, a certified letter dated May 31st, 2018, sent to the conditional use permit holder from the board secretary providing notice of today's hearing. The board asks the representative of the Office of the Zoning Administrator to please come forward and be sworn in.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name for the board, please?
Dylan Mosier, acting zoning inspector, standing in for the regular zoning inspector, Myra Turner, representing the building commissioner today. I conducted an investigation of the site this morning. I'm going to state a little bit of history, kind of thus far, of this revocation. I'm also going to point out a potential clerical error that may have come up throughout all this. It just kind of came to my attention today, as well as my boss, Mary Burton, the zoning administrator. So on April 15th of 2014, a conditional use permit number 120299 was issued to a business under the name of Grand Market. On February 6th of 2018, this year, a conditional use permit was issued for a new occupancy permit that was also applied for. That conditional use permit was number 125546, and that business was known as Grand Stop. I'm going to point this out kind of as I run through it briefly, where there was the two separate conditional use permit numbers used for what it's worth. On March 30th of 2018, a warning letter was sent to Grand Stop informing them that they violated 3 conditions of the latter conditional use permit number 125546. And if you want to see any of these documents, I can hand those over. On May 1st, the zoning inspector, Myra Turner, she wrote a memo to the zoning administrator, as you'd previously stated just briefly a moment ago, that there was a violation of a condition number 6 of conditional use permit number 120299. We believe that this was the first time that there may have been a clerical error as far as jumping from one to the other. On May 31st, approximately 30 days after that memo was written from Myra to my boss, the zoning administrator, a letter was sent out informing the business that they have a revocation hearing today, July 10th. That letter references the correct business Grand Stop that's being used currently, but then it references the older conditional use permit number 120299. Let's see, and then the hearing, the public notice posting that was put up on site informing the public of this hearing today, it references the older 120299 conditional use permit number, and it also references the older business name Grand Market at that time. So anyways, that's just a really long-winded way of saying that there seems to have been a little bit of back and forth, and I just wanted to make you all aware of that, okay? Frankly, the 2 conditional use permits, whether it be the 2014 one versus the new one, they're essentially the same. The newer one does have 2 additional conditions on it, and then, of course, there is condition number 5 that regards drug paraphernalia and things of that nature, and that is slightly worded differently, and the more updated, the 125546 conditional use permit has kind of more detailed language in regard to that condition. But anyways.
Mr. Chair, before we go any further, I just need some clarification as to whether appropriate and proper notice has been given with respect to exactly why we're here. I think it raises some concerns for me if the appropriate numbers have not been shared, it has not been appropriately and properly noticed, notwithstanding the fact that the conditional use owners may or may not be present. It just still raises some questions in my mind as to whether the notices have been appropriately provided to not only the owner but to the public as well.
And so I would agree with that. And so my follow-up question, just kind of bring this to an end a little bit, is there are 2 different permits, different owners, change of occupants who own the business. There have been a number of notifications sent out, as the director pointed out. And so today, you know, we're talking about permit number 120299. Is that correct?
Well,
May I add, President? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. May I add something in our preparation for the hearing? We also, the secretary and I also noticed some of these discrepancies of the numbers, and I took the liberty to call the operator of the business as recorded and to make sure that someone would be here today. And we decided instead of removing it from the agenda, we would hope to elicit testimony to possibly straighten some of these things out, realizing that if there were a notice issue, possibly a vote could not be taken. But that was something that, it's obviously there are a lot of clerical things going on in this file. Typically, I understand, Judge, that when a permit is reissued, it should have the same number as the previous one. So this is really highly unusual. So it was partially our hope that we would elicit testimony to get all of the proper players, you know.
So, Counsel, what do you recommend? How do you recommend we proceed?
I do believe there's a notice issue that might preclude our taking a vote, But I would like to elicit this testimony from the zoning administrator and see what he has to say. And I would also ask the board if we could elicit testimony from the owners and operators of the business to possibly help us to go forward with the matter.
Okay. So what we
We can close it unless we get it cleaned up.
do know is we know what the violations are today, right?
Yes,
And we do know that the actual business owner is with us today, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, and we can ask those questions and then go forward from there. So today, what are we in violation of with this permit? 2 conditions?
We are in violation of 2 conditions. We're in violation of, and to be clear, I'm referencing conditional use permit 125546, which I believe and my office believes to be the proper number to be used that this business is operating under. Okay? So condition number 5, there shall be no sale of items that can be used or are intended for use as drug paraphernalia as defined in ordinance number 68404 or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there shall be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for use involving a controlled substance, examples of which include but are not limited to the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Splitterellos, Backwoods, Optimo, Garcia, Ivega, and Game.
And so you made this inspection today, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And have you personally had the opportunity to speak with the permit holder?
I spoke to a young man today that came into our office after I had gotten back from my site inspection. He said his name was Jay. He said he was not the owner of the business.
Okay.
He said he was a cousin of the owner.
Okay.
So I did speak to him. I didn't speak to him about this particular condition. Does that answer your question?
It did.
Okay.
So I would ask at this time if there's any other questions from the board for the zoning administrator. Okay,
There's another condition that was in violation.
thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm sorry. Was that the signage condition that was the other condition in violation?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Condition number 6, there shall be no temporary signage on the premises or posted to the exterior or interior of windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. And also the packet of pictures, they showcase both those things.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you. At this time, the board requests that the representative from the Department of Health come forward and testify, please.
Help me God, I do. Adam Wario, and I'm from Health Department.
Can you give us a brief description of your investigation, please?
Yes, the establishment has a food permit with us since October 27, 2017. And since the establishment is a low priority, which is a low complexity, we do an inspection once in a year. And we have returned to the facility yesterday. And on initial inspection, we approved the permit because we did not find any violations. And the only violations we found was light intensity, and there was no light in a walk-in refrigerator. And that was fixed, and then we approved the permit. And when we went back yesterday, and we found 5 critical violations. And the first one was mice dropping, and there was mice dropping in a kitchen and a bathroom. And we recommended licensed pest control operators, and we scheduled a call back, and then we will soon visiting the establishment. And then there was no thermometer in the facility to check the temperature of food. And also there was no hepatitis A vaccine record that is supposed to be on the file. We did not find that. And also there must be a ServSafe, a certified person who is in charge at the facility to oversee the food operation. And we did not see that person, and that's a violation. And we scheduled another visit to make sure they correct this critical violation. And the building condition was not good according to our observation, but the community sanitation officer is with me, and he can say much about the building condition, so he's here.
So have you had an opportunity to discuss these issues with the conditional use permit holder?
Yes, we did.
And are they of the understanding of what they need to do?
Yes, we did. And
Documented this? So it's
yeah,
very clear?
we documented.
Any other questions from the board for the health inspector? Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name for the board, please?
John Ward. I'm an environmental health officer. I was asked to go out there, and knowing that the food inspector was going to go out there, I only covered the things that we normally do, exterior violations, and they don't have a public restroom. I found no trash accumulation or dumpster issues around the outside earlier.
And have you had conversations with the conditional use permit holder? Do they clearly understand what the violation is?
I told the person that was working there that, why I was there, and I left my card in case they had any questions, but I did not speak with him. My understanding is the owner was not there.
So has any written correspondence been generated to explain to them what the violation is?
Well, like I said, I didn't find any violations.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
did
do
not.
an
Okay.
interior because I knew the food inspector was going to go in there and do an interior
Okay.
inspection.
I got it. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Thank you very much. If there's anyone else present who wishes to testify that the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, the board asks the conditional use permit holder and his representative to please come forward and be sworn in.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? State your name for the board, please.
My nickname is Jay. My name is Galal Saulan.
You got to speak a lot louder for me.
My
to
name
hear
is
you.
Galal Saulan.
Okay. Before you start, I just want to ask you a couple questions for clarification purposes. Are you the conditional use permit holder or representative of at 1015 North Grand for Grand Stop?
Representative.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, is the conditional use permit numbered as 125546?
Is it about the...
Do you know if that's a conditional use permit number? Are you aware of that?
No.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, so about the paraphernalia, about the cigarette laws and switcher, we had a hearing about 3 months ago, 2 months ago. We attended, me and Arwayami, and we called the city and they say we approved to sell cigarette laws, switcher, but not any like pipes or scales or anything like this. But cigarette laws is okay. So we came and attended the hearing, and then we called about 2 weeks later. They say we are approved. And about the signage, we have an obstacle to get to some of the signage because there is some signage between two glasses, and one of them is bulletproof, so we could not get into it. But I promise this week we'll take care of it all. I'm gonna get because we went last week to get a sign from a company, and we're waiting for the design so they can send us the paper. We bring it here so we can get the permit.
Okay.
That's for the signage. But about the tobacco and the cigarette laws, we are approved to sell them again, because once we came, they told us to take everything out until we get approved. So what we did is take all the cigarette laws, all the wraps, everything out for about 1 month. We lost a lot of business, but we gotta do what you guys say.
Okay. So you're aware that the inspector came out and they found 2 issues that you guys had. One of those is about items that are used as drug paraphernalia. Talked about that. And then there's another issue with temporary signage on the exterior of your building. Are you aware of both of those? Okay. And do you have any issue with solving either of those problems at all?
About the cigarette law, I think we are approved now to sell them, because we don't sell nothing about just cigarette laws, switcher and all that. Just switcher, like no wraps, no vibes, no nothing like this. Just the switcher, because that's what they told us to sell after we attend the hearing.
Okay.
About the signage, I promise this week I'll get it all done. I'll get the permits and all that stuff. I'm gonna try, even because I just called the sign company today, and they told me they're gonna send me the letter today, so I can bring it today and get the permit for it.
Okay. Any questions for the conditional use permit holders representative from the board?
Yes, with respect to the permit 125546, the health inspector testified with respect to mice droppings, temperature issues, certification of persons over your food. I suspect that you are selling hot food?
So the restaurant was closed. We just reopened it 2 weeks ago, and
Well, the inspection was yesterday.
yesterday, yes, sir.
And
and my
so they
cousin-
found all of those things.
Yeah, and we told him we'll take care of everything. He told us we'll visit you again. I told him when you come again, you'll see everything. Gotta take care.
Are you still selling food today?
Today, yeah. Because he did not tell us to stop selling them. But if you guys want us to stop, I'm gonna go ahead and call them right now to
Well, I
stop selling
suspect
food.
that if there are mice droppings, you would take it upon yourself to stop. He shouldn't have to tell you to stop.
I'm gonna stop it today until I get the company to come.
Nothing further.
Counselor?
Can I get your name again? I was having trouble hearing you. I'm sorry?
Jallar.
Dilar, and what's your last name?
Sawlaa.
S-A-W-L-A-H? N. Okay, thanks. Because I was having trouble hearing you. Is Mr. Al-Rami, is he the owner of your business, or he's the owner of the business? Okay, and what's your relation to the business? The manager, the operator? Okay. And, do you have the permit? Do you hold it, display it? Do you have it in your possession?
It's in the side store.
Okay, so there is a physical one. And, you mentioned that you had a hearing a couple of weeks ago, and they told you you could sell certain things, but it wasn't before this board, correct? It wasn't here. Where was this hearing?
No, it was here. It's
It was
like
here?
2 months ago.
Before the Board of Public Service? Okay,
It was right here.
okay,
Yes, ma'am, about the cigarette.
okay, because you're probably going to want to speak to Mr. Mosher about what exactly your condition says, because unless your condition was changed, you have to follow your condition, and when he re-inspects, that's what it's gonna be.
Okay.
It's a little confusion.
Other questions or comments from the board? I would strongly support Director Edwards' comment about the health inspector, and if there's some issue and you are in the process of correcting it, I would strongly recommend that you take all precautions for public health.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Sure.
All right. Any further comments? Thank you very much. At this time, the board asks anyone who's in opposition to this revocation to please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, the matter concerning hearing number 8218 is now closed and submitted. I would also like to, before I close and submit the hearing, introduce into evidence as item A, the zoning inspector's report from July 10th, 2018. The board will now proceed with its regular agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Here.
Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Hayes.
Here.
Director Augustin.
Here.
Director Aragon. Here. Director Edwards.
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here, we have a quorum. I'll call this meeting to order.
From the President. Preliminary approval for letting number 8667, Shuttle Compton Hill, DeSoto Parks, Decorative Lighting, BPS project number R 2014-870181, St. Louis, Missouri. Preliminary approval for letting number 8668, Chiller 2 replacement, West Climate Control, St. Louis Lambert International Airport. Supplemental agreement number 2 to PSA number 1189, design of the reconstruction of taxiway K, L, and S from taxiway Echo to runway 12R through 30L, rehabilitate runway 12L through 30R, outer panels and taxiway Kilo north of runway 12L through 30R, Lambert St. Louis International Airport. PSA number 1215, replacement of miscellaneous HVAC equipment for Terminals 2 and North AARF, Climate Control Package 3 at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. Maintenance agreement between the City of St. Louis and Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District, granting the district access to stormwater management facilities to be included in an MHS travel and charter hangar construction project at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits for AT&T be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Starting at the front of 4526 Lexington, access manhole and pull cable in existing conduit to front of 4456 Lexington, dig pit, expose and repair conduit in front of 4474 Lexington. Starting from manhole near 4628 Olive, bored to new 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhole being placed in sidewalk near 4628 Olive. From this handhole, bore to 4631 Walton. Bore and place new fiber optic cable 18 feet from manhole 2173 located at 2424 Billups, north of North Market to existing 8 feet by 20 feet easement at 2424 Billups. Starting at manhole on South Grand, just north of Arsenal, across from 3024 South Grand, bore north for 71 feet, turn and bore east across South Grand, and down Vacant Alley for 125 feet to another manhole at the side of 3014 South Grand. From this manhole, bore 15 feet wide west and place a 17 by 30 by 34 inch handhole. Starting at handhole at the rear of 4531 Shenandoah, bore west down alley for 828 feet and enter existing handhole at the rear of 4641 Shenandoah. Starting at handhole at the side of 2030 South Vandervender, bore east down Russell for 105 feet, then turn and bore north for 290 feet to the rear of 1920 South Vandervender. Place a new street rated 50 by 36 inch handhole. Starting manhole near 1408 South 10th Street, bore 1,120 feet to new 4x4 street rated manhole at 1523 South 10th Street. From manhole, dig 2 feet to new 3x3 pad with fiber box. Also from manhole, bore to multiple riser pole locations. From the Director of Streets, recommendation that permit for City Academy to encroach with design on traffic box at 4175 North Kings Highway be approved subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Health and Hospitals, recommendation that revised regulations concerning horse and drawn carriages submitted by the Director of Health and Hospitals be approved. From the Director of Public Safety, recommendation that the following festivals be approved, subject to certain conditions as follows. Explore St. Louis special event, July 11, 2018, at Locust between 8th and 9th. Isis, Plain, and Fancy, Shenandoah between South 39th and South Spring, July 15, 2018. True Gospel Temple Church, 14th between Benton and North Market, Benton between 13th and 14th, July 18, 2018.
Okay. Hearing number 8670, Grand Stop, 1015 North Grand. Just a couple preliminary comments. We have a situation where we had a previous conditional use permit. It was transferred to a new holder of a conditional use permit. The numbers changed. There have been a series of correspondence starting with the previous conditional use permit all the way through the existing. As Director Edwards pointed out, there is some amount of confusion and question about, the permit number, notifications, those sort of things. We heard from the zoning inspector that as of yesterday, there are 2 items that are in violation out there. We heard from the health inspector that there are some concerns and violations health-wise that are there. We heard from the conditional use permit holder that they believe that they have had a hearing before this board that I'm not aware of, and that they are in the process or are committed to resolving the issues with the conditional use and with the health issues. And so at this time, I'll open the floor up for discussion.
Mr. President, at this time, I would like to make a motion that this matter be stayed and held open until a new notice is provided to all interested parties, and that all parties shall be given an opportunity to supplement whatever testimony they wish at the next hearing.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Is there any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Aye. Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Aragi.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. The hearing is stayed. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, July 3rd, 2018. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes as presented?
I move to approve the minutes of last week.
Second. Moved to second for approval of last week's minutes. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Abstain.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augusti.
Aye.
Director Aragi.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. The minutes are approved. On today's agenda, we had an item from the Director of Health and Hospitals, which were revisions to the previously approved horse-drawn carriage regulations. I would ask the Health Director, Director Aragi, to give us a little bit of information about the revisions, please.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas provided 2 copies of documents. One, that item 1.4 has stricken out what had previously been adopted on June 19th, 2018. And then the additional information follows after the stricken comment. She also provided a second document that has the wording as we would like it to be stated in paragraph 1.4. And basically this change is, previously we were checking the temperature on an hourly basis in the forecast and requiring that the carriage companies did not operate at any of those hours where the temperature was 93 degrees or above. The change is that if the forecast includes any time during the day where the forecast would be 93 degrees or above, that the carriage horse companies would not be allowed to operate on that day.
Alternatively, 15 degrees or below.
Or 15 degrees or below in cold temperatures, correct.
Questions for the Director of Health? Okay. Thank you for that synopsis. If there are no further questions on the agenda, I would ask for a motion, please.
So move.
Second. Moved and seconded to accept today's agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Argy.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Today's agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Okay.